Imagine auditioning for a show, but not knowing anything about the show, except that it's a musical and you've only got 24 hours to prepare before opening night. And it's only on for one night, which is pretty much keeping everyone in the dark, including the audience. It's called a 24-hour musical and it's happening this weekend at Cranbourne Community Theatre. To find out more, welcome to Showtime, Peter Verhagen and Amelia June.
Hey, Andrew, thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you so much for coming in. I mean, I know that for those watching it later, it's Thursday now, it's Friday tomorrow, and then Saturday's opening night. We're sitting here and you have no idea what the show is that right?
Absolutely no idea.
And Peter, you'll be part of the musical direction team, and
That's
Amelia,
correct.
you're part of the direction team.
Correct, yeah.
And you've actually only got 24 hours to put the whole thing together.
Yeah, that's it. We find out tomorrow at 8:00, and then Saturday night at 8:00 we open the curtain for the first time.
So you've cast the show.
Yeah, we've cast a group of people.
Yeah.
We haven't
So
cast
people have auditioned
Yeah,
not knowing what roles they're auditioning for.
correct.
That's correct. Not even knowing what show they're auditioning for.
And you've therefore cast people not knowing what show you're casting them for.
That's correct.
Okay,
Absolutely
this
no
is sounding
idea.
really bonkers. And then tomorrow night, someone literally pulls a name out of a hat and that's the show. Is that right?
That's it. We open the box and we get handed the scripts.
And then we have 24 hours to throw it all together, and that's including, the tech rehearsal, all of the sets, the costumes, everything, and then we open at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
So for those people who have been to a show as an audience member, but maybe not as a cast member or on a production team, when you say throw it all together, you mean sets and props and costumes and learning lines and learning lyrics and learning dance steps and trying to remember as many lines as possible and having costumes fitted and having microphones fitted and having the band or orchestra practicing and then having them mic'd up and then bringing all of their instruments into the theatre and all of the sets that haven't even been built yet because no one knows the show into the theatre. Am I getting close?
Yep, that's exactly right.
I guess most community theatres would have like a few rehearsals a week over 8 weeks to 6 months, but we're doing it all, including casting the actual characters in the show in 24 hours and on no sleep probably.
But that also means your audience has no idea what they're buying tickets to see.
That's right.
That's bonkers. That's awesome. So people are coming along. People are going to buy tickets to just see people having fun. People just doing raw, real theatre, and anything can happen, and it probably will. Is that sort of it?
That's exactly right. And Mills can talk more. We've this is our Windmill's second one. I wasn't there for the first, but this is an experience that Amelia's been through before, and is doing again now.
So, and was that Rock of Ages a couple of years ago?
Yeah, in 2021. It was sort of, there are lots of companies all over the world who've done 24-hour shows, and I know sort of post-COVID, Windmill wanted to do something that was just going to highlight, the absolute chaos and wonder that is community theatre. So they're like, why don't we just do it within 24 hours? And it was a fever dream. It was wonderful and an absolute delicious mess, and it was so fun to watch as well as be a part of.
And as a person in the audience, is it hectic? Is it crazy? Is it messy? Is it awkward? Or is it just fun?
It was, we had like 3 standing ovations throughout because it's fun. It's absolutely wild to watch. You're seeing people do what they love, on no sleep. And some people didn't even know the show at all. So it was wonderful. It was really, really exciting and, pretty magical and hilarious as well because, it was chaos, but wonderful chaos.
I don't know if it's still a thing, but I remember as a kid there was a thing called mystery flights, and I've read somewhere that this is sort of been compared elsewhere to a mystery flight where you buy a ticket just for the thrill of getting on an aeroplane. And you get on a plane and you could end up in Townsville, you could end up in Sydney, you could end up at Essendon Airport. You just don't know. It feels a little bit like that. you just strap in and go for a ride.
Absolutely. We could end up in Paris or we could end up in Turin. We don't know. But that's what's so fun about it. It's, like nothing else, really.
So, Peter, as an MD, usually you prepare for a show by hand-picking musicians based on the sort of genre they're interested in and the sort of work they've done before and the sort of instruments they have and their specialty and their passion. What have you done for this? Because you can't do any of that, can you?
No, correct. We've called people we know and trust, and that's basically our ethos. In the same way that we've picked people that we know are going to have a bit of fun with it. The only thing we do know about the show is what instruments we had to hire, but it narrows down absolutely nothing for us. You know, it's still so broad. So we've just called people that we know and trust and know that, you know, they're in for a wild ride as well as we are.
And what about all the other stuff? How do you make costumes for people that don't know what they're going to be in, what role they're going to be in, what size they're going to need? How do you do that?
It takes a village. So not only do we have, you know, an incredible group of cast who are throwing themselves into it, we also have an incredibly dedicated and wonderful like production and tech crew and people who are just, will spend 24 hours organising costume pieces, running around Melbourne trying to grab whatever we can. And there's also just a lot of humility that goes into it too. Like, just, you know, we're going to do as best we can in the time that we have. So there's a lot of suspension of, what's the phrasing?
Yeah, suspension of disbelief.
Of disbelief, yeah.
Yeah. And even, you know, trying to tell people what to bring, trying to tell a cast what to bring. We've basically said bring everything, you know. It's like your packing list from primary school camp, but then throw on your roller skates, your bather, like, you know, like we just don't know what to expect.
What have you, Amelia, as one of the directors on the show? Because, of course, there's a team. There's a musical direction team. There's a direction team. There's a choreographic team because there's so much to do in so little time. What are you and your direction team telling people to prepare?
We're telling them to prepare for anything and everything. When it came to the casting, of course, we don't know what we're casting for, so we really wanted to try and cast a group of people who were, you know, that classic triple threat where we can, you know, throw them into anything. We're preparing people to just go along for the ride. You know, we've got incredible performers. Like last time we did the show, we had like some amazing performers who've played, you know, the epitome of musical theatre roles across Melbourne, who played a tree or walked on as a waitress. And that is sort of, so we're looking for people who are ready to just like get down, do anything, happy-go-lucky, go with the flow. So that's sort of really what we're preparing people for, and preparing people to accept not being perfect, just that it's about having fun and giving it a go.
And are you expecting everyone to be off book, as in remembering lines, scripts down?
Well, I am, yes. That's what I am expecting of people.
And is that because there are like teleprompters everywhere?
We do have teleprompters for those that feel they might be able to then follow along the story a little bit. But part of the magic is watching people on their feet, flying by the seat of their pants too. So we do have structures in place to support the team. But yeah, well, ideally we'll get people off book. But if we don't, that's fine. And that's part of the magic of it.
And of course, audiences are going to buy tickets and come along knowing full well that it's a one-night theatrical mystery flight, aren't they? I'm really sticking to that mystery flight thing. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah?
I love that analogy. It's so funny and it's so true. Yeah.
So, Peter, with the musical direction team, usually the musical director is, you know, spending week after week with the cast, teaching them the lyrics and teaching them how to act through song, and really refining that, and then jumping over to the orchestra and bringing the orchestra together.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a thing in 24 hours.
No, I think so. There's three of us in the music direction team. But
sorry, did you say 33?
Three. Three of us. Three of us in the music direction team. but 2 of us jump over to the band at 8 a.m. So we get 12 hours basically to get everyone ready before, because also, you know, it's one thing for us to think as a team, we've got 24 hours to get the music ready, but actually so does direction and so does choreography. You know, everyone's got the same amount of time. So when you try and split it down a lot more, it gets worse. The more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Well, I mean, I hear that you're talking about it from Peter, a musical perspective, and Amelia, a direction perspective, and you've got a third of the time and you've got a third of the time. I'm thinking about the cast members who've got 3 lots of stuff being crammed into them over 24 hours. I mean, that's full on. Surely it's the sort of thing that either makes or breaks friendships. Because I've lived through tech weeks, I've lived through production weeks, and they're stressful when you've got a week. A tech week that's, like 3 hours?
Yeah.
Sounds bonkers.
It's one rehearsal. It's one tech dress, all in one, and then go and have a 5-minute break before you do the show. And
with people that you've only met maybe over 18 hours, like people that you haven't even worked with before. So, yeah.
I imagine, though, it's one of those things where people are just running on adrenaline. You know, it's just this, everyone's there for the same reason. Everyone's there just to have a really good time and perform at their best, but also just have fun with it and just lean into the crazy novelty of putting this all together in 24 hours. That usually pre-production starts 12 months or so before opening night. This is like 12 hours or so, or 24 hours. But it must be so exciting, so exhilarating for the whole team to just keep feeding off each other's energy, and then the audience coming in and adding to that energy. And surely that's what gets you over the line.
Oh, absolutely. As well as a lot of coffee and little car naps and, but the whole novelty of it absolutely is a driver. And once you get that audience in and you're just like, what is about to happen? It's electric and exciting. And it's just so nice to be able to do something that we are all a part of the arts and theatre because we love it. So to be able to jam pack it into a wild 24 hours is so cool and fun. And, it really does bring people together in a very wacky and wild way, that's for sure.
It does sound like a whole lot of fun. And this is happening as part of Windmill Theatre Company. Yes. And it's one night only. It's on Saturday, the 16th of November. So if you're watching this next week, sucks for you, it's too late. But I'd love to chat about it again and to do a bit of a post-mortem and see how it all went, because it does sound like a whole lot of fun. Now, if people want to buy tickets, they go to windmilltheatre.com.au and there's a big link there to go on and buy tickets. And you're going to announce it, I imagine, on social media sometime tomorrow?
Yes.
8 o'clock.
So 8 o'clock Friday, the show is being announced, and that's when rehearsals and set building and prop making and all of those things start. And then Saturday, the 16th of November at 8 o'clock is when the curtain rises and whatever happens.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for jumping on your day before the storm. Really excited. I mean, usually I'd say chookers for the season, but chookers for the night. Really, I hope you have as much fun with it as it sounds like you're going to.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you for having us.